Hello, everybody. Today I'm here with the last set of levels for Dr. Mario World, and we're just getting into it as quick as possible. And yeah, they were fun, these last set of levels. I got to use Dr. Wario again, so everything went pretty well. I only had to do one stage one time, and I'll talk about that when we get to it. But yeah, this one is pretty self-explanatory. There are a lot of blocks in your way, and what you're going to want to do is start clearing out the viruses, as many as you can at once. So if you get double ones, try to get 3 lined up so that you can save as many capsules as possible. But also, you don't want to trigger those flasks. The more you trigger, the more bubbled viruses will come out, and we'll see an example of that in a second. But yeah, I used those that double red there to get rid of as many viruses as I could. But yeah, now here comes some blue ones, and I get a pretty funny moment trying to race some of the viruses in a second here. But the blue ones, or I guess they're not always blue, but the viruses that fall in those bubbles, they can really get in your way. For me, they honestly didn't cause too many troubles. So what I did was I went for a single corner first instead of going straight down, because if you go straight down, you might find that you're having a lot more trouble with the bubble viruses instead of if you get rid of one corner. You can hope that the bubble viruses will go in the corner that you don't want. But yeah, right here I frantically try to get some greens before those blue ones land, and I am able to do it. But yeah, there were so many different blue and reds that I had to take out onto the side there, and that's pretty close to what my versus mode battles look like. Just frantically pulling those down. But now we get to this part here where there are some reds that get in the way a little bit, but I have some reds stacked up that I can use to get rid of them. And then it's just the matter of getting rid of this last corner over here. The rest of the bubbles that are in the side without any of the coins are not necessary to clear, so you can forget about them and just work on the remaining coin spots you have left. Remember, you don't need to get all the viruses, just the coins behind the viruses. And as you saw there, I got super lucky with that bomb placement, and there wasn't anything spawned near that coin that I have to worry about. Now I can just use these 2 blues that I have left to get rid of these last 2 viruses, clearing it with plenty of space. Wendy would probably be really good for this. Maybe, I don't know if Wendy would be good, because then you'd have a lot of open spaces that you need to get into, but I think she would also be pretty good. Bowser, of course, Wario, of course, any of those would be pretty good. Now this is the only stage I had to restart, and I think I actually soft locked it. The exploders, or the bombs, or whatever you want to call them, are really enticing, so I went for them right away last time, and I don't think I could do anything once I exploded both of them. I think you need to get rid of some of the rows underneath first. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but I looked at it for a good while after I got rid of those exploders. It didn't seem like I could even do anything. And like I said, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I could have done, I could have got rid of some of those keys or something. I really don't know, but this is definitely a better way to go, because if you clear out some of the viruses that are down there, you gain more access and more freedom to start clearing out the rest of the stuff, and then eventually you can choose to use the bombs, which I think I used pretty quickly here because I kind of ran out of options. But I do want to clear out some more viruses at the bottom, just to make sure that I have some space before I blow everything up. But once you have some space, you can eventually get down to that key, and then the sides open up where you can start building up some towers, as I like to call them, basically stacking some capsules on top of each other. And we'll see that very ugly concoction when we get to it. But for this part, I'm still kind of deciding what I want to do, and I finally work up the courage to use some of the bombs there, because those doors were open. So I figured that I could clear out some space since the doors were already open. And now I can work on this lock, just filling up some blue viruses next to it. And then we'll see, as kind of a nice effect, all the doors and keys simultaneously open. I thought that was pretty cool. I kind of sat there in shock for a second of what I just saw. But now I'm going to start building up to the side, because I'm not really sure what else I should do. I still haven't blown up those bombs yet, just because I was waiting to see what else I could do before I do that. So as you can see here on both sides, I start building up with some capsules, trying to get to the upper level ones that are next to each other right now. And I start getting some blue ones first, so I start with that side. And here I contemplate for kind of a while if I should put this red one here. And I don't actually remember if I even did it. But I was like, I still need to work on that blue one up there. So I shouldn't get rid of this, right? But yeah, I do eventually do it. Just because I'm thinking of the points I can get for it. It lined up pretty well, and it was already pretty messy. So let's make it a little bit more messy by making a spot to put blue capsules on both sides of the blue virus. That way I can clear it out, and then I start working on the other side with some greens, which as you can see I don't have very much of. I finally got some here, but I had a lot of blues and reds that I had to get rid of first. And now I'm done with this side. This tower doesn't need to exist anymore, and if I need some points or something, I can use them. But as you see towards the end of the video, I actually use those capsules to my advantage, so we'll talk about that a bit later. All three of those doors in the middle were taken out, and then I just have these few viruses over here that I need to get rid of, which I will build up some capsules around it in a second here. I got rid of that other capsule too, or that other key, because I was kind of sick of looking at it, honestly. Oh yeah, that's right, I do build off of this one, which in hindsight I don't really know why. I could have just built up underneath the doors there first, and it would have been a lot closer. I probably would use the same amount of capsules, but here I end up doing it anyway, so I should have just done that in the first place. Either way, I have some greens here that I used to get rid of that key first, and now I have some open space where I can start working on the red one. And then eventually you want to get rid of that key up above so it can fall into the door, and then I just have those viruses at the bottom. Now there is bad to stack up so many capsules like I have here. Like, it looks pretty ugly, but now I'm able to, like, watch this. I put this green down and everything starts falling, and it is a little hectic and I do screw up a little bit, but luckily I already had 3 stars, so there wasn't much worry, and I am able to use the remaining ones I have here to just use, or to get the rest of the things I need. And I didn't even have to take out that other virus. All we're going for is the doors here. So yeah, we had plenty of points and everything, all the way up to 40,000. Not necessary, but yeah, that level was alright. Like I said, I got confused for a second at the beginning, and you might have as well. Like, you might not be sure what to do, but just try to clear out some viruses underneath that as well. Now, I was also a little confused about this one too, because they have all these colored boxes up here, but you don't have to clear them ever. Some of them you will eventually kind of work on, because the floating ones, the floating viruses, kind of stay around there. But I don't really see the point of having so many bubblers and colored blocks. Maybe it's so that, you know what, now that I think about it, I think it's because they don't want those floating viruses to go up there. You know what I mean? They want to ensure that the floating viruses stay down there, so they wanted to fill up all the sections up there to make sure that they stay down. That's the only thing I can think of, because when you get to the end of the level, you'll end up not having cleared out like any of them. Like I said, there's some at the bottom that you do use, but a lot of them aren't taken out at all. So what my strategy for the beginning of the level is just getting rid of as many of these, what are they, the floating viruses, as soon as possible. This red one in the corner was kind of annoying, and I will get to it eventually, but you want to get rid of the ones that aren't bubbled first, because if you go for them last, you'll probably end up hitting some bubblers and they will rebubble the things that you already popped, if that makes any sense. So it would be a good idea to clear out the things you already have, and then you can work on the bottom later. Now, I think Dry Bowser would probably be really good for this, even though there might be a problem with it targeting the top, because there's so many of those blocks there. And maybe that's another reason why they did that, because if all that stuff wasn't there, you would be guaranteed to hit that with the Dry Bowser and get all of it out immediately. But you'll probably get like 2 shots with Dry Bowser. So if you want to try it with him, you could get lucky, or you could get multiple attempts and eventually get to it. But otherwise, like, maybe Larry would be good. Bowser Jr. would probably be really good. Again, he pops the bubbles. Larry gets rid of the colored boxes. Again, going over the theme of Koopalings in this section here, which is kind of strange because levels don't usually have a lot of like a central theme, unlike the clinic events, which seem to kind of follow a single character. But these stages really seem to favor the Koopalings. Maybe that is a coincidence. Maybe they're trying to make them work for the newer characters with all the bubbles and all of the blocks and everything. But there are a lot of crates and things too that only the Koopalings can work on. So I don't know what the thought process behind that was specifically. But just talking about the end of this level here, it's pretty self-explanatory. You don't have to get rid of the color boxes. So it's just getting rid of the ones blocking your path to the remaining viruses, and then just clearing out as many as you can. You can use the extra colors you have to get a few more points on the side, and you can clear out some of those boxes to get a few more points as well if you need to. But it should be alright. And with my point raising assistance, I easily made it to 3 stars. Moving into the penultimate level, I believe. Yeah, so I don't actually remember what this one was. Okay, now I remember. So I was gonna start working on the viruses on the side there first, but you definitely want to get rid of the coin because the coins, well, you don't need to clear them all to beat the level. They do get in your way, and you will just end up clearing them by doing the viruses anyways. And you at least have to get all of the coins unlocked first before you can gain access to the rest of the level. So you're going to want to start with the top, get rid of all these coins, and then once that middle section opens up, you can use the shell to get in the middle. Then the key opens up those sections, and you can start clearing them as you'd like, making sure to get rid of the coins as well so that the rest starts unlocking. As you can see there, it starts unlocking, so I can start working towards the bottom while also getting these remaining blues up top. And then you can get rid of those final keys there. I use this green to get rid of that key so I can clear out those blues at the same time. Or sorry, I don't mean keys, I mean coins. And then you're going to start working on that lock with the shell there. The shell will clear the lock, and you can use the reds both at the same time so that you only need one red for each one. And now it's a matter of, or I guess the most difficulty will come from getting rid of that top row there. So what I do is I stack up some capsules there to get to the greens and the blue as well. And I do have to make a few stacks just because the colors they gave me weren't completely ideal. But it works out alright. And like I said, the coins will clear as you get rid of the viruses around them. So that they aren't necessary to focus on. You really just need to try and get to those ones at top before you clear the bottom ones, so you don't have to make too high of a stack, and then you can use whatever you use to stack up to clear out the remaining viruses. And I do take a little bit of time just thinking over what I should do, but the rest of the level is fairly simple. I also tried to get that red one in the middle there, but I was a little too slow, so I missed out on some points there. But I used the double red to kind of give me a boost up to that green one that was left over, and now we just need a final red to place in there. And I had plenty of points to get 3 stars. Of course, I was using the red assistance that I need. So there we go, that level was alright. It was just kind of a matter of following the coin path that they give you, just going along that road there. So now we're on the oh no, this is the final level actually, I'm sorry. I said that last time already. So this final level, in my opinion, is pretty self-explanatory, at least at the beginning. So what you're going to want to do is go into alternating columns, I guess. And you don't want to, like those greens there, you want to clear out the top green before the bottom green. The red underneath, you don't want to clear that first. You want to clear the green one up top before you move on to the red one. Just going back and forth like that. Make sure not to get too many different colors in your way, because that might mess you up a little bit. If you need to, just clear some of them out. I'm sure you'll have plenty of capsules in the end. But yeah, after you get to that part, we get these barrels here. and the barrels mostly contain these bombs. So the bombs will take out the remaining barrels that you have left over. All you need to do is get to a few of the bombs themselves first by just breaking them open a few times. And then like for this one, I got pretty lucky and got a double green there. And now I just need another green in the middle there to get rid of the rest of them. And the same thing goes for this side. I just need to get a few of these bombs exploded, and then they'll take out that entire ring of barrels there. And that side does react a little bit differently just because I cleared it a little bit differently. But in the end, it still goes basically the same. There are some issues with the left side just because of the way it worked out. But I'll get into that as we go. And the right side ends up clearing a lot better just because everything is nicely in that little circle. So once you get some of the bombs exploded, the rest of it will work out itself. You'll just have a little bit left. And again, you'll see that as we go. So I get rid of that bomb on the left there first. And that side's a little messed up, so I decided to start working on this side instead and work on that later. I try to get this red one, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why I went for the red one, but I get the red one there, and then there's just this line over to the side that I have to clear. And I put a green one in the middle, which takes care of the one above and below it. And that is the best way to do it, is to get rid of the one in the middle, so that it's a little bit easier to get rid of the rest of it. Now here, I end up clearing the one on the bottom just because it was available to me. And I also accidentally put that blue one there. I think that's a little unfair because the game looked like the key was about to go through the door, but it ultimately made me put a blue in the middle there and kind of mess up my game a little bit. Of course, I have plenty of capsules, so it's not going to be a big deal. But yeah, I do that one first. Now I still have this green one here, but luckily the game was nice enough to give me the colors I needed, get those 2 remaining greens, and clear the level just fine. So yeah, that was the last level of the world. And I thought these levels were fairly easy, especially compared to the previous world. And I don't know if that's... I guess I don't know what that's specifically due to. Maybe World 15 was kind of a challenge, and now as we're moving on past World 15, it gets to be a little bit more on the nicer side. I had some problems trying out the newer doctors and everything, but relying on the doctors I know work always went fine for me. So yeah, it shouldn't be too much a challenge for you guys, but if you have any questions, make sure to let me know and I'll try and help out. But anyways, I'll see you soon for the clinic event and the next set of levels. And I thank you guys for watching all these videos today. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.